Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa, marketing lead at Adina, and you're listening to The Beauty Curtain. This is the podcast that draws back the curtain on the beauty and personal care industry. And today we're talking to Kiyaan Bui, our very own ingredient specialist here at Adina, on the medicalization of beauty trend and scientific breakthroughs in the industry. So welcome, Kiyaan.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. So first, I would love to start off with, what is an ingredient specialist here at Adina?
So I would think it means essentially someone that has extensive knowledge about cosmetic raw materials and ingredients in the personal care industry. It is a fancier version, I would like to think, of a technical sales rep. It requires having a good level of understanding about how certain ingredients work in formulations, and also being able to offer your own personal advice as well, and being able to troubleshoot certain products and formulations as well for development.
So I'd love to know a bit more about your background, and I think our audience would be really interested in that too. So tell me a bit about how you got into cosmetics.
I think I've always been very interested in beauty in general. Growing up, I think that any average teenager goes through the same stages of teenagehood. So acne, bad skin. At that time, I was very adventurous with dyeing my hair, chemically fried it, and I just thought, you know what, I need to do something about this. The products in my bathroom, I didn't know what they were, and just started to read up on ingredients and felt really compelled to try out products in the market. And then it kind of led on to having this standard of doing something academic for my family. So I've always kind of been pressured to become a doctor or do something in the medical field. And that's why I took up A-levels in chemistry and biology, and then decided that it wasn't for me. And I came across someone who allowed me to shadow under them. So someone called Jane Barber, who owns a company called Making Skincare. She allowed me to shadow under her for a couple of years. And that was my gateway to cosmetic science and formulation and being a chemist in the industry. So yes, I started off as a chemist, and then decided to kind of branch out into regulation, packaging, artwork, labeling as well. I did that for a couple of years, and decided that during the pandemic, I decided to go into my master's. I hope to branch out into something a bit more um, out of the industry, and came across this role at Adina. And I've always wanted to delve into technical sales, because I thought that it's always quite useful for someone in the industry to have different parts of experience in different parts of the industry, especially when you're so exposed to it. It helps to be able to transfer your experiences to one area to another. And yeah, now here I am here.
So how did you find Adina?
I actually came across this job on LinkedIn, and funnily enough, I used to talk to Bajili and Will when I was formulating, and Bajili used to look after my account. And so I saw this post and decided to kind of reach out to them. And having kind of the experiences of Adina's portfolio anyway, and knowing generally how friendly and welcoming they are, decided to go for it.
Well, I'm glad that you did. And how long has it been now?
It hit 2 years, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, at the Adina Trends event.
Oh, congratulations on your 2-year Adina-versary. I guess what have been maybe some of the highlights, or what's a highlight of your time here?
I think staying in the sales team permanently, I was only meant to be covering Bijali when she was on maternity leave for a year. And so it was nice just to be able to be part of the team permanently and work with everyone.
Nice. I love that. So you mentioned the Trends event, and I just want to tell our audience a bit more about that as you actually presented one of the trends. So just for a bit of context, the Trends event we hold annually, and it's to launch our trend report. And this year it was hosted at Jingo London, which is a futuristic bingo hall. We had presentations on some of the latest trends set to evolve, which aligned with our annual trend report. And we had a guest speaker, Graham Cook, come in and talk about AI. That was followed by product displays and some futuristic bingo. Did you win anything, Kiyaan?
Unfortunately not, but it was just the participation that is key.
Exactly. So, Kiyaan, how was that experience presenting at the Trends event?
It was lovely to see everyone again. I think it was a great experience overall. The venue was amazing. I think you and Barry did an amazing job at finding the venue and organizing it. And yeah, it just a great turnout. The customers were really receptive to it as well. And overall, can't complain. It was just lovely to be able to kind of touch base with everyone again and also showcase what we've been working on this year as a team.
Nice. You did an excellent job presenting, I have to say. So I would love for you to kind of tell us, what were you presenting? What was the trend, and what does the trend mean in general?
So in a nutshell, Big Science tackles kind of demystifying some of the questionable advice that's on social media and online. So really talking about consumers being more aware about the changes in the industry and what they're being fed by companies. And also it delves into kind of what companies are working behind the scenes. So some of the latest works, some of the latest technologies as well. And also not just in the beauty industry, but expanding out of it as well and thinking long term and smarter ways of working to ensure that we still have the resources, or if not better resources, in the future.
Coming back to consumers, you mentioned that they are expecting maybe more transparency, more information about products, they're educating themselves. Why is that shift happening?
I think it's because of the fact that there is such a vast majority of amount of information online now, and we have access to websites, different journals, different resources for anyone just to kind of read up on. And now that consumers are becoming more curious than ever, wanting to kind of understand the science behind beauty products, the ingredients, there is a need to educate consumers and making sure that they are receiving the right kind of information.
So is it twofold? Are customers kind of trying to obtain information and then brands are also trying to provide more, or is this one way?
I think it goes both ways. I think that consumers are finding their own resources and interpreting resources that they are reading up on or being received by brands or information online by certain people and putting their own twist to it. But equally, I think also brands have a responsibility as well, and how they choose to brand their products, what they choose to put the information out there in terms of certain ingredients. So I think it works both ways.
So what are some of the ways that consumers are obtaining this information?
So some of the ways that which I can see online are through cosmetic chemists, expert influencers online. So cosmetic chemists, like I said, like making skincare, the Eco Well, Lab Muffin as well. You have all these professionals who have had extensive experience in the industry and sharing their content online. We've got people like the Derm Doctor, Brown Skin Derm as well, of course, who has a huge following on social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as well. So I think a lot of people who follow these influencers are being educated by them and receiving these information and trusting them as well, really, just to understand how certain ingredients function in formulations and why they should buy a particular product.
It's interesting that consumers are now looking to get information from expert influencers. I think you can agree that back in the day, we all used to watch YouTube channels and classic beauty channels, from the layman, the person off the street who's interested in beauty. So why do you think there's that change now, and do people still trust the original influencer?
I think we've definitely come a long way from receiving kind of beauty advice. Like you said, back in 2012, the whole go to your kitchen, whip up a face mask or make your own DIY toner from apple cider vinegar and lemon. I'm sure we've all tried that at least once. So I think it definitely has changed a lot. I think consumers are starting to realize that there is an industry where there are professionals who take the time to study about certain ingredients and also understand how certain ingredients work in a formulation, how they work in synergy, why they're there for a particular reason, and beginning to trust more on the professionals instead of kind of relying on self-proclaimed influencers or experts in the industry.
Do you think there's still a place for the original influencer?
I think so. I think they have a job in promoting brands and promoting certain materials and products as well, and that's how certain launches become viral. So I think there's definitely a need for them still, but I think in terms of the formulation advices and understanding ingredients to a organic chemistry level, for example, I think that's better left with the professionals and experts in the fields.
Understood. What are some other ways that consumers are kind of diagnosing themselves or getting more information on what they need for their skin?
So there's some interesting launches and companies that have been working on this, such as the home testing kit by Galani as well. And they claim that you can test your microbiome in the skin to see what particular products that will work for your skin, that are catered towards your skin specifically. There's a million skin types out there nowadays. So it's about catering to your own personal needs. And apart from that, we have other companies that are taking more of a holistic approach, like Dr. Valley's, a 360 experiential center that's located in Selfridges. So they tend to offer more of a all-rounded approach, hence 360. Offering face mask treatments and massages, and even as far as offering hot beverages that's meant to be good for your immune system, head massages, scalp massages. So offering a full package to help a consumer feel good from the inside and out.
I'd like to touch on the at-home testing kits a little bit. Do you recommend them? Do they work? Because I think there's a lot of skepticism around, putting a patch on your forehead and this miraculously tells you exactly what your skin needs. Like, what's your professional opinion on that?
I think because this technology is still very new, I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done and a lot of data that needs to be collected. Because if we think about it, a lot of the data and results are relied on by consumers. And so if we have a small population size who are doing this and we don't get enough data to present this, then we might not be seeing the bigger picture overall. So I think there still needs to be a lot more education and testing in certain kits like this at home.
So on the other side of the coin, how are brands rising to meet this new demand for the curious consumer?
So again, it's all about touching on education and making sure that your consumer understands the message you're putting out at the end of the day. And it's about taking the technical advice that they receive from their suppliers and people who work in research and development and converting that into kind of layman's terms for them to understand. So we have certain brands like The Ordinary, which we all know, with their infamous minimalistic formulations and their extensive ingredient glossary on their website to showcase what active does in their formulations. And also with Paula's Choice, with their own take on educating their consumers, they lead with their ingredients on their website as well and providing extensive information about what particular actives they use in their formulation.
Paula's Choice and The Ordinary, they're definitely the OGs in this space. Are there any new brands, indie brands that maybe are taking their own approach to meeting the demand of the curious consumer?
So we have other brands like Rhode by Hailey Bieber. They publish their cosmetic chemist on their website. So really giving credibility where it's due and also kind of helping the consumer to understand the step in helping to launch and develop a product. And also educating consumers in a way of what a cosmetic chemist is. I think a lot of people still don't understand what a cosmetic chemist does or cosmetic formulation chemist does. So there is that need of educating our consumers and understanding that there are people who specialize formulating and developing products, not just, going to a kitchen and mixing things together and hoping that you create a amazing product.
Do you think that's part of the reason of why Rhode by Hailey Bieber has become so successful? Because there are a lot of influencer brands out there at the moment, but this one in particular has blown up. Do you think it may be due to this transparency?
Definitely. I think consumers crave transparency. They crave any new information they can get from their brands. And it's all about having that personalized relationship. End of the day, consumers want to feel their presence, and their time and effort and money is valued. And so when companies go an extra step to share things behind the scenes that consumers don't get to see on a day-to-day basis, they love it. And, when you kind of see the interactions certain consumers have on their social media platforms, it's always asking, oh, what's the latest technology? What's the latest new launch? Or how did you have this ingredient? How did you make this and that? So it really is about, building that personal relationship with them.
On an ingredient side, from the manufacturers, are they doing anything to meet this demand? Are there any manufacturers that you think are leading in this space?
Yes, a lot of our suppliers are making a conscious effort to be more transparent with our customers. For example, Algactive do a very good job in doing so. They tend to share a lot of their sourcing story and their sustainability stories with our customers as well, and really showing that they are willing to support our customers and their brand itself to make sure that their consumers can trust in the products that they buy and the products they use on their skin.
I think that's a great place to finish this episode. Thank you so much for joining us, Kiyaan. It's been an absolute pleasure. Stay tuned as Kiyaan is coming back. Yay! For another episode, and we'll be talking biotech boom and more scientific breakthroughs in the industry. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.